Who doesn't use it and who doesn't love it? Amazon Prime, the e-commerce marvel that gets stuff to your door just days after you buy it, oftentimes just one day. But will a bill in Washington really sink Prime?
Yeah, a trade group says yes and is telling our two senators to vote no. So what's the deal here, and would Prime really be in peril? Our Jeff Gillen's looking into it for us and joins us in the studio.
That's right. Good evening, everybody. The measure is called the American Innovation and Choice Online Act.
Maybe you've seen this.
But Washington politicians have a law that could break Prime's guaranteed 2-day free delivery and threaten our fragile economic recovery.
The commercial was paid for by the Computer and Communications Industry Association.
The legislation that's being considered in Congress would regulate all online platforms and marketplaces.
That's the group's president, Matt Schruers, talking about a bill before the U.S. Senate. It's probably the most significant bill to regulate big tech in years, getting bipartisan support. The bill's supporters say it stops huge platforms like Amazon, Google, or Facebook from giving preference to their own products or services. They say it prevents Amazon from doing things that could disadvantage companies that have to use the platform to reach customers. So back to these ads.
Tell your senators, don't break our Prime.
In Amazon's case, the bill would allow sellers to use other shippers and not have to pay Amazon to get the products to you, which they do now. The CCIA says this changes Prime's business model, which could endanger its profit, which could endanger Prime.
Is that it would effectively ban Amazon's Prime's free 2-day shipping because of how that integrated service is offered to consumers.
This won't stop Amazon from offering Prime.
That's Consumer Reports tech expert Sumit Sharma, who says this bill is a very good idea because it would even the playing field for sellers who could lower costs for you.
So overall, Consumer Reports thinks this is a good. This would result in a better marketplace for consumers and for sellers who use Amazon.
The bill was introduced last fall by Democrat Amy Klobuchar, who denies Prime is in danger. But the fight is on.
As policymakers learn more about the potential impact of this legislation, they are reassessing whether this is how they want to go about regulating the dynamic American internet economy.
Now, both our senators say they are examining the legislation. I should note that Amazon does belong to that trade group I was telling you about. I did reach out to the company, and when I hear back, I will pass that along.
Sky 3 flying over the entrance to Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area, where the Federal Highway Administration has proposed building a multi-use trail, a paved trail, to give pedestrians a safer place to walk, bicyclists too, joggers. And that is a lot of locals are wondering, is that the right thing to do out there?
And so what's also happening right now is an environmental assessment is underway right now for the project. Next week, there'll be a public meeting that's planned to gather input. News 3's Denise Ross joins us live from the County Government Center. And Denise, the project does not come cheap.
Maria, this is just phase one, a stretch of about 5.5 miles, but build out for an entire 20-mile trail system throughout Red Rock. You're right, that's going to run about $100 million. Most of that is federal money. Some of it is county.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. There's no place like it in the world.
Ed and Kathy Hall have become regulars on the road to Red Rock Canyon on a short ride, biking 15 miles from their home in Summerlin.
And every time you come by, it looks different. You say, oh my God, look at that.
But the Halls also make sure they stand out, wearing bright colors and using flashing lights. They know State Route 159 isn't always kind to bicyclists.
People are distracted. People are pulling off to take pictures or go looking at things, and they're speeding.
Which is why the Bureau of Land Management is looking at changes. The proposed Legacy Trail would move pedestrians and cyclists away from traffic, a 12-foot wide multi-use path, which could break ground on Phase 1 next summer. This is where the trail would start, at the intersection of Charleston and Sky Vista Drive in Summerlin. From here, heading west through the desert to the Red Rock Fee Station.
This is really the start of the review, figuring out whether there's any significant impact to the environment there.
Clark County Commissioner Justin Jones says it's all about safety.
We know that the visitorship at Red Rock has increased by almost 500,000 each year, and over 4 million We know this is just going to bring more folks, both in town and from out of town, to see the beauty we have.
The idea of a trail system began 17 years ago. The group, Save Red Rock, formed after the death of off-duty police officer Don Albeets, killed by a hit-and-run driver while biking State Route 159. Eventually, the plan is to expand the Legacy Trail all the way to the town of Blue Diamond.
It took a couple of years to move it along, but really excited now to see the process.
As for Hall,
I think it's a great idea.
He says anything that gets people out of their cars and walking is welcome. But he admits he'll personally stick to the shoulder, taking his chances with traffic.
Cyclists who are going 15, 20 miles an hour prefer to be out on the road.
Now, if you would like to be heard on this topic, BLM is hosting a virtual meeting April 14th at 6 p.m. And we have a link on our website where you can register. You can go to news3lv.com for that information. Reporting live, I'm Denise Roche, News 3.
Denise, thank you. Until then, we want to hear your thoughts now. Would you like to see a paved recreational trail through the Red Rock Conservation Area? Let us know your thoughts. Here's this poll that we have on our Twitter page. So far, 65% are saying no.
It's called A Better Choice for our students and started in early 2020. One of the goals, to recruit, vet, and announce their support for the candidates they feel are the best fit to represent district students.
But we're very invested in making sure that this upcoming election, although school board races are very far down ballot, that people understand what is the better choice in their area.
A Better Choice PAC is looking for qualified candidates to be on the Clark County School Board of Trustees. Crisis in the Classroom spoke with two of the PAC's board members to talk about what they are looking for in the position.
Somebody who's professional,
collaborative, respectful,
even-keeled,
willing to listen to someone else.
Terry Janison, who served the School Board of Trustees from 2005 to 2010 and was president for the last two. And Dr. Patrice Johnson, an educator for 40 years, served as an associate superintendent for CCSD, as well as a middle school and high school principal.
What set the precedence for this?
It really started when we started to see some dysfunction within the current school board. And then it was just a time for us to get together and say, we need to start recruiting good quality candidates who can do that job.
Just a few months ago, much of the focus was on bickering amongst the board and not the issues important to students and staff, with added pressure from challenges of the pandemic. We also witnessed a vote to fire Superintendent Dr. Jesus Jara, and then a vote to reverse that decision just weeks later. Janison says part of A Better Choice's role is to make more candidates aware of what the job is.
So you have one employee, and it is the superintendent. I think some people say, well, I'm going to come in and I'm going to fix that district, right? And that's not your job. Your job is policy, it's governance, it's to support the superintendent, hire the superintendent, and then support them.
Why is now an important time for the PAC? We're getting close to the election, where 3 seats are open for grabs.
We're going to vet those candidates that are interested, and we certainly hope all of the candidates are interested in responding to questions that we have predetermined in qualifications for a great board member.
To clarify, is the goal of the PAC to find better candidates to replace the ones there, or is it also to improve the ones there?
Janison said in part,
we're not saying wipe all 7 of them out. I mean, but that's why we reach out to them to say, we'll serve. So if someone is willing to listen and we can see that growth in them becoming the type of trustee that we believe is most important for our community, we'll absolutely support them.
Right now, District D, currently held by Board President Irene Cepeda, District F, currently held by Danielle Ford, and District G, that is represented by Linda Cavazos, are all up for re-election, with several candidates running for each district, including the incumbents.
Because the other thing that we'll do is once we recommend certain candidates, we will help them through their election.
When asked about the importance of having qualified candidates on a school board, here's what Dr. Johnson had to say.
Academic achievement is what our community wants for our children. So let's get after that, and let's make that the focus of our discussions.
And I received a call from trustee Danielle Ford with concerns about the relationship between the person who registered the PAC and the CFO, saying it's a potential conflict of interest. When I reached out to the registrant and Janison, they said the registrant is not part of the board for the PAC, does not have any voting power, and is not involved in the selection of trustee candidates.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.